Hey, so a couple of you are still having questions about how to graph an equation that is in slope-intercept form. So remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is our growth rate, or it's our slope. B is where we begin on the y-axis. Okay, so I just kind of screenshotted 4 questions that some of you were having problems with, and I'm just going to go over those. So the first one, if we look at y equals negative 2/5 x plus 5, the growth rate is negative 2/5. It should be going downhill because it's negative. And my y-intercept, or my figure 0, or I'm going to begin at 5 on the y-axis. All right, let me get this bigger. Okay, so I'm going to begin at 5. Boom, there's my 5. And then my slope is negative 2/5. So negative 2/5, I'm going to rise negative 2 and run 5. So basically that means I'm going to go down 2 and then over 5. So I duplicate this, I'm going to go down 2 and then over 5. There's my next point. Apparently there's 2 points on top of each other. And then do it again. Down 2 over 5, and I'm done. Now when you do this in IXL, I think you only need like 2 points and it automatically makes a line for you. So really that's all you need is 2 points to determine a line anyway, but there it would be. Again, we went down 2 over 5, and that's how I got to my next point. All right, the next one is one of those weird ones where the 0 is my starting point because there's no x attached to it. That's not my growth rate. That's just where I begin. So I'm going to begin at 0. And then because there is no x with it, that means that it's not growing at all. And so this is one of those special cases we talked about today where there's no growth rate. So it's not growing. It's going to stay 0 everywhere. All right, let's go to 2 more. Negative 4x plus 7. I feel like sometimes the integers are more confusing to you guys because there's not a fraction. But the growth rate would be negative 4. But if I want to make it an improper fraction so that I can do like rise over run and have something to look at, it would be negative 4 over 1. So my starting point is at negative 7. So I'm going to put a point, sorry, positive 7. I don't know where the negative came from. I'm going to put a point at 7, and then I'm going to go down 4 again because it's negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. There's my point. Now I could keep going. I don't have room on my graph necessarily, but in IXL it doesn't matter because all you need is 1 point and it will automatically do it for you. Okay? All right, and then the last one, very similar to that one. I probably should have picked a different one for you, but very similar. My starting point is at 8, so I'm going to put a point up here at 8. And then my slope, or my growth rate, is negative 6. So I'm going to make it negative 6 over 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1. And there's my next point. Again, it's negative. It's going downhill. Whoops. So it should be going downhill when I graph it, and that would be it. Okay, hopefully that helped. Again, if it is a fraction already for my growth rate, cool. Then we have our rise over run automatically. I actually gave you 3 negative slopes, 3 negative growth rates, just by coincidence. Maybe they're the hardest for you, but if it's a positive slope, guys, positive slopes should be going uphill. If you guys watched Slope Dude, positive slopes, right? He's got his puff, puff positive, If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Slope Dude from yesterday's. So this would be a positive slope going uphill. Negative slopes, right? He said nice, negative. So nice, negative, because he's skiing downhill and it's all nice and fun. And then we had that 0 fun. So this was 0 fun. So this is a 0 slope. There is no growth. That's like that one that we did up above. And then we didn't have any, I don't believe, so far yet, but if you have a vertical line, then that growth rate is actually undefined. And we'll talk about those later. Okay? The biggest thing is if your growth rate is positive, your line should be somehow going uphill from left to right. If your slope is negative, it should be going downhill from left to right. And if there's not an x in your equation, that means that your growth rate is 0 and you're going to have this horizontal line. Okay? All right, hopefully that helped. If not, ask me tomorrow.